Okay, we are getting started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Houdini Battle. My name is Deborah Isaac. I am your host. I am a Houdini educator, work at Drexel University, and founder of Houdini School. First, we will introduce our commentators. Remy, Pierre, you go first.
Hey, I'm Remy, and I plan TD at Digital Domain for CFX and FX.
Great. Justin?
Hi, I'm Justin Dykhouse. I'm a Houdini generalist at Magnopus in LA, and I'm also a co-organizer along with Deb of the LA Houdini user group. Very happy to be here and to see all our wonderful competitors today.
Thank you. And Matt?
Me?
You go next.
Okay.
Yeah, you.
Hello, I'm Matt. I make CGWiki and I'm currently working for Riot doing general Houdini governance.
Great. Michael?
Hi, I'm Michael Fredrickson, and I am a TD at Pixar and kind of a Houdini generalist as well. And I'm a fan of Matt and of CGWiki.
Alex, how about you?
Yeah, I'm an effects artist and supervisor at Method Studios in Melbourne. I also love CGWiki. So,
Don't we all?
just finished studying, so ready to go.
If you haven't noticed, everyone who's introduced themselves was paid handsomely to endorse CGWiki.
Exactly.
And how?
Stefan?
I'm Stefan Walch. I'm a motion graphics artist from Germany, close to Berlin, freelancer. And I think I'm the underdog today, and I think I have Matt to thank for even being in here. So go CGWiki.
I love CGWiki.
Thank you all so much for participating. It's going to be very fun. Now I'm going to roll the die. So if I can get some random seeds put into our chat window, I'm going to share my screen.
Just some random numbers. There we go.
Great. So first, let me talk about the themes. We've got futuristic, icy, retro, and surreal. The objects are orb, butterfly, timepiece, and fungi. And let's go ahead and put these random seeds. We have, okay, let's do it. The first one is 12 from Luke. So we can blame, these are the people to blame. Luke and Peter always is the first one to pick. Peter, thank you. So Peter and Luke, you can blame them. So seed, and Peter is responsible also for this HDA. Thank you, Peter. So 12 and 53. And here we go.
Ooh.
I'm so excited.
so
Retro
nerdy.
fungi, everybody. Retro fungi.
Okay.
And so,
Fun guy.
so we have a countdown of 45 minutes. On your marks, get set, and go.
All right. So
And you guys all share your screens, the players.
I was about to ask that. Very good.
Missing Matt.
God damn it. Desktop 1.
Okay, so everybody, you're all Zoom experts. You know how to look at different shared screens. We are missing Matt.
I should be screen sharing now.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Cool.
So, perfect.
There you go. So, as usual, the contestants are going to go look for reference because, yeah, fun guy is not exactly the easiest thing to think of.
And there's plenty of options for it too.
Yeah, and I think Houdini is a really good tool to try to make some kind of easy shapes and add a lot of detail. I think it's going to be a really interesting one. I don't know how retro it's going to go. Add an afro, that would be great.
I'm really excited about this one. I was hoping Fungi would get picked.
Yeah, this is a neat combination for sure.
Yeah, can't make that. Can't make that. Can't make that. That's been my skill set. Ew.
Oh, we have we can have a look at Michael, who seems to be doing something that's unusual compared to the web happens usually. So I think he's preparing just a quick sketch of what he probably wants to make, and
Interesting.
that's a really good approach. Like to have instead of just going in Houdini and start doing stuff, is trying to make his idea probably.
Yeah, it's good to see some concepting going on beforehand. Then you always have something you can kind of refer to if you're not sure what your next step is. Rather than getting hung up, you can kind of look back at your concept and see what steps you have yet to take. So I think that's really neat. He's got some preset palettes there, which look pretty good too.
Yeah, but really good palettes. I don't know if that's he's on library or that's a Photoshop thing. I haven't used the new Photoshop. Let's say.
Well, it's bigger and louder.
Probably. And ask for a subscription.
Yeah.
I think that's cheating.
I pre-approved Photoshop.
I just want to register my protest at that.
So should we have a look at, I don't know, Stephen, maybe?
All right. So moving over to Stefan's screen.
Oh, all right. Starting to do stuff. So he's creating a curve, resampling it, and orient along curve. Let's see what he's going to apply to his curve. He's going for a mushroom and translucent one.
Ooh,
Cool.
very interesting. So we've already got a curve and we've got some normals that are oriented along that curve. So that's a good strong start. And then a sweep. Okay, yeah, looks like he's starting out to make the fungi. So the the sweep node, very useful for a variety of different things. I think we're going to see a lot of that today.
I think so. Oh, interesting. So he put down a point triangle and he seems to have his own presets for it. So he's creating the curve view, which is just creating an ID, or maybe just from 0 to 1, from the beginning of the curve to the end. But you can also just create a UV texture node if you want to do that. Put it in row and columns, I think, mode.
That
In
sounds
case you
right.
don't know how to do it in code.
An index going from one end of the line to the other is also useful in a lot of situations. So you'll see a resample node, even if it's not being used to resample the number of points in the line, you'll see it used to pick up that curve view attribute, which is kind of handy.
Oh, that's true.
And he's got some bulging. Obviously, there's a curve that one can use to adjust the width of the sweep along the line. And so that can be really handy for making shapes, either blocky or a little bit more curved and natural, as in this case. Cool. Off to a strong start, I would say.
Show off.
Let's see. Shall we have a look at Alex?
Yeah, for sure. So moving over to Alex's screen.
Looks like we have another mushroom going on. And
Starting from the cap. Yeah, a fungi. Starting from the cap and moving downward, possibly, instead of the other way around. Most sort of like, yeah, sort of the most.
Be like the lights for something retro.
Oh,
like
true. Yeah.
You know?
Could be like one of those.
It was not. It was just inverted.
Okay, so Pinterest being used once again as a source of reference. So that's cool. You can kind of see what people have pinned. And it's fun because I think we're starting to get to the point where when you see a reference, you're not sure if it's a photo or if it's a render somebody has already done on the same topic. It's getting to that level.
I haven't seen that many fungi around us these days, but So he's using the tree trunk generator. So I think that's a new labs nodes, I think, which I haven't used. It looks great. I think I forgot the name of who's making that node. I think that's someone at Side Effects directly.
Paul, he's in the audience too.
But all could tell us.
Yeah, Paul, who made this tree trunk generator?
These tree tools were made by one of my interns called Ryan Gold.
Ah,
Interesting. Yeah, I have not had a chance to use this one either.
so many, it's hard to keep up.
It's also difficult when you're not doing production work.
Yeah, you kind of have to stick with what you know when you're doing production. It's fun because when a new node drops in the Houdini, the first thought for a lot of people, myself included, is, okay, how can I use this wrong? What else can I use this for besides what it says on it?
I thought that the first thought was, can I just do it in Vex instead?
which is technically true of every node, I think.
Time to save your files.
Ah,
Oh,
it's just
yeah,
doing exactly
always
that.
Oh, good.
Thanks,
Nice reminder.
Peter.
Also good to open multiple Houdini sessions before even starting Houdini battle, just in case. Should we have a look at Matt?
No.
No!
Let's look at Matt's.
We have an OpenGL node. Okay, that's finished. Done.
Pretty much.
Are we looking at Matt's screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Looking at what Matt's doing. So he's also doing a mushroom, and he's already trying to light it, I guess, or just
Okay.
OpenGL wrap to make it easy, but to be able to iterate probably.
That's it. Pretty much it.
Very interesting. Okay.
That's a really complicated Houdini battle there.
This is classic me shooting myself in the foot.
And I'm seeing some bumps on the mushroom that could be like lumps on the actual mushroom cap itself, or those could be dewdrops, I guess. I'm not sure where we're going to
We'll
go with
find
this one.
out.
Yeah.
Dewdrop, and then his Mac Pro, his Mac will just burn. It's going to be slow to render.
The limitations of this crappy Mac is largely pushing my technique here. So
Always good to work within limitations, right?
Yeah.
Stimulates creativity.
And I can see that it's going to use VOPs, which we have barely seen since Houdini battle. Usually people go for wrangles, but maybe since it's cops, maybe he's using some functions he doesn't know or have too many inputs to the function, and it's easier to just use VOPs for that when the function has a lot of inputs.
Yeah, instead of having to write your own code addressing the different aspects of the inputs, you kind of get them all for free when you lay down a VOP. It's also good, I find, for working with noises. So could be if there's going to be some noise in here, maybe in the shading section, then we'll see some a good use of the VOPs format there.
I don't know if it'll be a good use, but it'll be a use.
How about a successful use? We'll say a successful use there.
Already, that's far too much pressure.
I don't know what he's doing with his texture, but it sounds fun.
I have plans.
Yes. Okay. So
It's nice to have people using cops, because I think it's the first time we've seen people using cops. And yeah, I barely use it myself, so it's always good to see something being done there.
yeah, I think it's wonderful for making textures and stuff that's going to go into the actual modeling or the design of the asset. And so that's what I think we're seeing here. We may be seeing. You know what? I'm not even going to guess what we're seeing, but I agree. It is.
That's the retro part of it.
Now you get it.
No, that's really good idea.
Well, again,
Shall we have
let's see what
a
happens when
look
it's done.
At Michael?
Yeah, let's look over at Michael Fredrickson here.
'Cause,
Okay. Oh, we have a nice little, very symmetrical looking fungi coming along here. I like this. Or is it I guess it's fungus would be the singular here.
a single one. It's true. The theme is fungi, so try to make more than one.
Well,
That's true.
luckily,
You can do more than one.
luckily in Houdini we have lots of ways of making multiple copies of things with slight variations.
I
So I
believe
think
in
we'll be
you.
all right. Yeah.
So it's
So I-
going more for the more of a revolve way of creating the shapes. So I'm guessing you just made the curve to show what was the main contour of the object, and then just revolved it to have it closed.
Yeah, it's a very it's kind of like a very old school way of working. The Revolve was a sort of a 3D tool back at the beginning of 3D graphics, and it's still very useful when you want to design something that's very clean and very good topology. A lot of times you can use sort of a Revolve workflow to get your stuff going. And as so often in Houdini, there's lots of different ways to get something done, and so you kind of choose the one that's going to get you the best result for what you're going for. So it's neat to see these sort of different approaches of the sweep node and then here the revolve node.
And yeah, in the end, it's nearly the same in output.
Yeah, it's all about how you get there. I must say I find the shape really appealing. Actually, I think it's nicely proportioned. So I'll be interested to see how this goes.
It's not only about the technology. Sometimes just some people are good with even paint. Just
I've heard that. That's true. It's the artistry and the sort of the personal touch that really matters at the end of the day.
Damn it.
Let's look at what Steven's doing.
it is interesting. It feels like I'm watching someone working in Maya in a way, like using Revolve and then using subdivision just to drive the shape. It is a different way of working.
That is the most backhanded compliment I've ever heard.
And now it looks like he's making a bounding shape to cut through. Also kind of a old school 3D modeling way of working, sort of define a shape and then define another shape and then say, okay, now subtract this first shape from the second shape and give me the result.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that, Deb? Do you want to take a look at? Are we?
Stefan?
Oh, have we not looked at Stefan yet?
Oh, we have.
We have. Okay.
It just looks interesting.
Yes, let's
All
circle
right,
back.
let's go for Stefan.
About 30 minutes left, everybody.
All right, seal of approval for using the curved node connection type with Stefan. I'm a fan myself. I find it much more easy to
I'm a
look
big
at.
fan. It's the right way to do it.
I concur. People who use it know what they're doing. People who don't use it don't know what they're doing. It's very simple.
So he's making some VDB. Looks like small pyramids somehow. Probably they're going to be blurred a bit to be a bit smooth. Looks like Bowser to me. So maybe he's making Mario.
Oh yeah, it looks like a turtle shell almost. Yeah, so it looks like a copying to points of a shape and then a VDB made out of that shape and then I guess a VDB made out of the original, and then you can kind of combine them, smooth them, and mess with them how you'd like and end up with a nice watertight topology. We'll see if that's the case, but that is one of the possibilities. Looks like he's adding some, introducing some randomness to the orientation of these, which is good. You want to see a little bit of orientation change in a natural phenomenon. You won't see stuff all sort of pointing the same way. So that's a neat addition, just adding a little bit of noise to the orientation. Oh, yep. And we're working in VDB here, so we're going to see a VDB smooth. So that'll kind of maybe gel everything together a little bit more.
Blending everything together, yeah. Instead of having different geometries, it's going to be one solid geometry. And yeah, it does give us a nicer, smooth outlook.
this way of working has its trade-offs as well. A lot of time the topology kind of has its own challenges after you come back from VDB, but what you gain in creating a nice, smooth, natural-looking mesh can sometimes outweigh those problems. And it is possible to retopologize too, in Houdini or in any other program. But yeah, very good for natural-looking stuff. I gotta say the stem is looking really good here too.
Yeah. I like the bend shape. It does give it some life instead of just being straight and like from the supermarket.
Sorry, I was looking at Matt's.
All right, so shall we have a look at Matt? Because it sounds like he's having fun.
Nah,
Well,
I'm absolutely cheating.
I like after that. Okay, that's amazing. Congrats, Matt.
Oh boy, putting down his creds here.
Yeah.
I tuned fungi before it was cool, huh? That's like, but it was cool like already in the 70s. I don't think you're that old. Were you even born in the 70s?
Believe it or not, I was.
Probably in the 60s it was already, in fact.
Nah, I made it cool. All right.
I love that he has like a bunch of lights, a complicated light system just to have that as a result.
It's me, man. I've been overcomplicating Houdini since 2015.
So instead of retro, like mid-century American design, we're talking about retro as in the 80s VHS retro style. Is that
VHS.
what I'm seeing here?
Shit, you're right. VHS. That's what I'm doing next. Thank you.
Well, it looks like Justin is cheating, is giving ideas to his contestants.
Oh my God.
About
No, but
26 minutes left.
It is a way of using Houdini that most people don't use. Like, I don't know many people that even use cops and then trying to do something that's like some kind of Photoshop. Directly in it is really interesting. I hope you share the file at the end because it sounds like a fun file to look at.
You'd
Probably
be disappointed.
Yeah, to all of our attendees and all the audience members, we generally try to make these HIP files available after
Yes, that's right.
after the competition. So if anybody's interested in taking a closer look at how your hero has constructed their HIP file, then you can do so.
He's going to put it behind a paywall, so be careful.
Exactly
We have
right.
another reminder from Peter to save your HIP files.
And also don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell.
Patreon.
We need the YouTube money. Should we have a look at Alex?
Great.
All right.
Interesting.
Looks like a Zen fungi. I don't know what's going on.
It's the platonic ideal of a mushroom. It's the perfect shape.
It is.
It does look edible. Well, not anymore.
Interesting, using sort of different colors here. I wonder if that'll come out as part of a rendering thing, or if that's just to kind of differentiate things that'll be used for different effects. Because of course you can use a color inside of a network in order to pick out different pieces that you want different effects on, almost like using a group. You can say, oh, if it's over a certain amount of red, then affect it with this node. But if it's under a certain amount, then you use this other one over here. I've seen that workflow sometimes.
I'm wondering what
Ooh, I like that.
for. He's making a group that's just grabbing a few primitives, and he's probably going to change the color or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sort of randomly pulling them into the group and then affecting the group.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going. It felt like he has a stamp in it. So I don't know if he's going for stained glass or maybe the. Yeah, that's true. But he had the cubes with different colors as a retro idea.
Well, I'm gonna have to be a little bit more circumspect in my guesses, or I start giving away free ideas.
Too late. I heard all that. I'm stealing that too.
does feel retro though.
That's why he was slicing the mushroom probably to make some kind of stamp.
Oh, I
Oh,
see.
it's making
Okay.
it okay, that's kind of
Huh.
interesting. I like it.
So like a checkerboard pattern?
Not probably. Maybe not. I don't know what would be more like diner. Yeah. Just see. Let's see how he's going to manage to make it look that good. Like neon lights or something.
Oh,
Maybe some
yeah.
rendering.
Nothing wrong with neon lights.
Should we have a look at Michael?
All right.
All right. He's making some more curves. And
Interesting.
Mhm.
Detangling some curves here, I guess.
oh my, that's
Oh, look at all those blast nodes. All right.
it's going to be really difficult to make it automated with that.
Breaking the procedural nature somewhat. I'm sure there's a payoff involved, though.
As long as it works, doesn't matter. Well, unless you have to change it, you give your file to someone else. They see that and they just quit the company. So he's making multiple shapes.
Okay, to get a nice clean line to be able to do a poly expand or, oh no, a poly wire. Okay. Poly wire is sort of a notoriously finicky kind of node, so it pays to give it really clean topology whenever possible. And yeah, a lot of hand finagling here to get this thing to work.
Yeah, the polywire it's also quite an old node, I think now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it does generate some artifacts.
There was a LA Houdini user group meetup, I think maybe a year and a half, 2 years
That's
ago, where
right.
Jake Rice showed us how to write a new poly wire node from scratch. So that was a fun one. I was even able to understand a couple of the things he said, so that was nice. I am intrigued by this. I like the different sort of the
It's a
branching
completely-
structure.
It's different approach completely.
Yeah. It's cool though, that sort of hand tailored approach. Oh, it's almost like carpentry, if I may.
Someone that knows their trade.
And auditioning different colors here, or perhaps different colors for the different branches to bring them all together.
I think it's also like a neon light thing, probably, just to have multiple shapes with different sizes and.
Oh, I see. Sort of like an outline progressively larger in different colors. Okay.
Probably. But with
About
this
20
method, you
minutes
can
left,
tell that
everybody.
you don't need complicated notes to do. Wow, that's a
very
good
Oh, look at
and
that.
there you go. I actually like the the blocks in the middle. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Wow, that's great.
I like it. 20 minutes, everybody.
This could be like a He-Man or like that.
Yeah. Fungi, and the and the spore spreaders. Fungi and the spore spreaders. There you go. That's the name of the franchise. Wow. And then some interesting let's see, some display options. What is this?
Okay.
Changing
The default diffuse material to have a different reaction to the light. I guess maybe
Mhm.
warming up the base color temperature of the world default material. I have to say that's the first time I've seen that done. That's neat.
I've never changed that ever.
See, I would get myself in trouble if I did something like that.
Ooh,
Ah, look at that. Okay.
That's really
digging
neat.
it.
Wow.
Like it.
Huh.
Really retro, like 8-bit or. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
have
it's
a
almost
look
like
at
a
the,
Spectrum ZX.
We have a look at the Stefan.
Sure. Before I get hypnotized by the colors on this thing.
Oh yeah, he just makes the colors change like.
Oh yeah. Sort of like a palette shifting kind of thing. Change the colors. Wow. All right. So here we are back. We've got a nice, very detailed cap on the mushroom and very respectable looking fungus, I must say. Now, what are those? What do you think those circles are that are surrounding it?
I don't know yet. I don't know if that's part of the setup or that's the actual wanted look in the end.
Almost looks like a rig.
Yeah. It's just for keen effects. It's just going to make it
To make it dance.
Fortnite dance. It's a fungi that does the Fortnite dance.
If we see him going to Mixamo and downloading the dance, the dance
18
motion.
minutes, enough time.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. It's not like a proxy. It's maybe it'll be part of the final effect. It'll be something kind of surrounding the mushroom. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the mushroom is made completely in PDB, so I think he's added some noise on it. It's nice because you get a lot of detail for free instead of having to make some polygons and add more polygons just to get some detail. You can just make it as a volume and convert to polygons.
Yeah, absolutely. It much easier for a lot of stuff than surface modeling when you're modeling in VDB, especially the SDF sort of flavor of it, where you're dealing with the surface.
I just love it. I think he only saw one preset, and that's to make the curve view. That's his one preset.
The one thing you need.
You can tell that he's doing that a lot, probably at home or at work.
Mm-hmm.
He just ends up doing that all the time.
Yeah. It's a good habit to have, so I could see that definitely being sort of the first thing you do, so that you have that available to you during the building of it. I also like seeing that many null nodes kind of helping to organize the file. Of course, everybody's different in the way they work, but I happen to like sort of overusing null nodes to kind of tell me what I'm doing at any given time. I also tend to put sticky notes and stuff, but the null nodes with the X is very recognizable even at a distance in a network, so you can kind of tell these are sort of interesting points. These are pivotal points in the network.
And naming them but he's using the same naming convention I'm using, which is using out to when something goes out of his on node, when it's going to be called somewhere else. I use in when it's used in the same network. Just conventions.
Yeah, very
I don't
useful.
know if that's everyone's convention. And for example, colors are also important usually in the network. It's great to have a few red. When I get to the network, so it's like, oh, this node is red. I'm like, I know I should look at that node. I know it's an important node.
Yeah. Yeah, the red node. You're like, okay, I'm going to just take a quick peek at this one first, I think.
About 15 minutes left, everyone.
So indeed, now he's starting to use the sort of the ISO lines that are going around the outside of the fungus. The fungus.
We still don't have fungi. We only have a single fungus for each of them.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, Alex?
Yeah, let's take another round if we can.
Yes.
Oh, we've got a font node.
Oh, font node. He made the B, and it didn't fill it. That's not normal. It should have failed.
Big fungi diner, and then apparently maybe I see sort of like clock hands.
Oh,
okay.
That's nice. That's,
I like it. That's very retro. The diner clock.
Yeah.
Definitely goes with the theme.
And should be a vegan diner where they make like.
There you go. The mushroom meat. They serve you shiitakes instead of steaks.
Or portobello. Just your burger is in the portobello mushroom.
There you go.
That could actually be good. I should try that.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with a nice big portobello.
the 2 portobellos and the bean paste, the bean pasty. Done.
Use the 2 portobellos for the bun.
There you go.
This is fun though. It's got sort of like an abstracted mushroom shape sort of in there, just to kind of give you the read of like, oh yeah, this is the fungi of the fungi diner. So it's kind of neat. It's some thought going into this design and this presentation that I like.
It's playful.
And possibly Comic Sans also. Not
Got a great
sure.
Comic Sans.
Could be.
I can.
Yeah.
I can confirm.
Okay. All right. Instant
I really
disqualification.
I wish
for
we could
others.
see that rendered like with
Neon?
light coming out. That would be amazing. But well, there's 15 minutes left. I know whenever render is involved, it crashes or something.
Yeah.
So.
Although again,
Not
for
that trending it.
the audience, we do allow extra time after the competition if the participants want to like finish it up and make a nice render out of it. But the judging
Nope.
that we do is based on the work they do here. Yeah. Or if they want to drop it and never speak of it again. Also
That
allowed.
is not allowing it. In fact, let's have a look at Matt.
Sure. Let's see how. Oh boy.
No, it's
Oh,
amazing.
good.
So it's going in the
Yeah.
Voltron.
The Ultron, exactly.
You could paste that. You could put that on Instagram. You'd have 2K likes instantaneously because you get the grid on there.
I'm going to be selling this as some crypto art. I'll take some
Yeah,
bids
there
now.
you go.
There you go.
Get your NFT,
Kill some dolphins.
right? Who needs that environment anyway?
Yeah.
I like it though. It's kind of like a geodesic dome sort of stuff there. There's like the ribs and struts there, and then there's like a surface on the inside, and then so that's kind of looking very retro. And then of course you get the scan lines and the pixel dots, cathode ray dots, I guess.
I think it's is it polka dots? I don't know if that's what they mean for that. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, I think it's like a nod to the sort of the cathode ray sort of pixels that you would have seen on old displays.
It was meant to be that sort of like 50s op art Liechtenstein thing, and then I went, you know what? This is hard. I'm gonna just morph it to 80s.
Gotcha.
So,
Like a halftone pattern to kind of give
Yeah,
you the
exactly.
look of a comic. Gotcha.
it's a hodgepodge.
It's a grab bag. But that's cool. It's coming out of a sort of a noised up, a mountained up plane there. That's also pretty cool. So that's kind of like a abstracted forest floor, maybe. Yeah, it's neat.
Oh, thanks.
That mushroom should have been in the Simpson episodes where it goes in 3D. That's really old Simpsons episode.
Yeah, that'd be great. Holy macaroni!
Shall we have a look at Michael?
Yeah. And Dip, how are we doing on time?
About 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, look at this. I find the color
I'm
choice
impressed
really
with all
pleasing.
the
Yeah,
designs.
color's very good.
Yeah, looking at Michael's screen here, the colors are nicely selected, I have to say.
Oh man.
I don't know if that was the color palette he prepared earlier.
I think it's not dissimilar. So I think he was going for this sort of time period and this sort of look the whole time. That's cool. It's like half a mushroom. So we're seeing one half. How are we going to see the other half? That's my question. And then due to the procedural nature of Houdini, he's going back and looking at some of the original lines, able to change those, and then the changes will propagate down the network if you want them to, and sort of change the final product. It's part of the power.
Oh my god, someone's mentioning it looks like an Atari Jaguar game.
Oh,
That's Nick.
It's
that
pretty
is-
good Jag.
nice. Very specific reference. I like that.
Yeah, and not many people have seen that console at all. I've seen one in my life.
Oh, you've
want-
actually
if
seen
you-
one? Oh my god.
I've seen one. Someone had owned one when everyone else had like PlayStations already.
Nick has lots of references.
Oh.
Okay, I see. So he's isolating sort of different pieces of the line to use them as kind of accentuate to accentuate the look.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And doing a copy and transform node, I find this a really rewarding node to work with. It does a copy at a specific distance or rotation or scale, and then you can repeat that however many times you like. So you sort of end up with these really interesting looking iterative shapes, kind of move from one sort of frame of reference to another. Boy, I sound like I've been having some magic fungi. Jeez.
Whoop. Nice.
Oh yeah, Luke in the chat is saying, are those gills? Perhaps those sort of ridges that are under the cap of a fungus?
Yes,
Very good
yes,
call, Luke. All right.
Yes.
Yeah,
8 minutes left.
I like that the basic color here is not just a straight white. It's kind of like a beige or an off-white a little bit. Kind of gives a little bit more weight to the rest of the colors.
The basic white. That's true.
Nice.
Is everyone saved lately? I hope so.
Save.
Ah. Apparently, Stefan is having an animation going, so I think we should have a look at
I
that.
think we owe it to
Yeah,
him.
it's going super well.
Oh yeah. What's going on there?
Okay, so we've got some colored lines also that are kind of emanating from it. Oh boy. Oh, and a deformer.
I think he's using a lattice,
Okay.
but I'm not seeing a lattice node, so maybe he's
Yeah.
using patch size.
Is that inside the point deform? No.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
since he's using the point deform, that's also a lattice.
Oh, I didn't know there was a lattice in there. That's cool.
Well, you're just putting points depending on the points, and it will move.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. So kind of rolling your own lattice deformer.
Yeah.
Oh, very interesting.
That's probably a good way to have a simple lattice setup.
Mm.
For those of us those kind of playing along, a lattice deformer is generally used to give sort of a larger scale, sort of broader motion to something rather than real specific animation in a small part. So if you think of like a piece of kelp kind of waving, you can do that very easily with a lattice deformer. It's basically a geometry-based thing, and you sort of move it over the model, and it kind of deforms it back and forth. Not great for real specific motion, but real good for sort of overall low frequency noise, for example. There's other uses as well, but so you'll see it a lot of times when people are making sort of vegetation or anything that kind of just needs to sell, maybe background trees or something like that, just kind of needs to keep alive, stay interesting with its motion without getting too specific.
I like the orbiting motion he's got going.
Yeah, the motion is really good. So you just use the lines and just carve on the lines to just keep a part of it, and just change the width of make the shape with them, makes them rotate. It looks really cool. And now we finally have fungi.
Here are the fungi.
We have
Oh,
fungi.
and there's the animation. Oh, now I see.
That looks really cool as well.
Yeah, I like
These
that.
designs are really good.
It's hypnotizing.
All of them. I have no idea how I'm going to vote.
That's gonna be hard.
I think the retro in this case is coming. The color palette is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the retro here. We've got a nice turquoise and purple, sort of those neon 80s colors.
Yeah, definitely. It needs some synthwave music behind it, and maybe the fake sun and with the lines.
Right, the grid going to the mountains in the background.
Oh yeah.
Less than 5 minutes, everybody.
And the car.
You could have a Lamborghini in there.
All right, let's move and let's have a look at Alex. Hopefully
All right,
have another look at everyone. So yeah, he's just complete. Oh, he's rendering his.
Is the render going? Okay.
So I don't know if he's using Mantra or.
Looks like
Using 3 to light.
Three to light.
3 to light. Okay.
cool.
Beta, so risky.
3D Light has been kind of having a resurgence of late, it feels like to me.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot more people talking about it. There's always a background hum of it, but now more and more people are talking about it. So I'll be interested to hear more
Yeah, I
about
want to
that.
learn about it.
The only company I knew that was using 3D Light is Image Engine, and looks like people have been starting to use it while they stopped using it.
I thought I heard that Illumination had been using it, but I might be making that up. If there's somebody here from Illumination, I'm sure they'll correct me.
It would be really late for them. And now it's past midnight. I think in fact, it's probably 2 a.m. in France. So.
All right, so let's take a look at Matt Estella then. We'll just try and take one last kind of look through at everyone.
Yep. About
Oh.
3 minutes.
So he's
It's
rendering
perfectly-
out.
He's animating it. And
He's
it's
got
going to CG Wiki. It's going to be the new intro you get on CG Wiki.
CG Fungi. Yeah, so we've got it open in MPlay. So he is successfully rendered it. Look at that. All right.
And his Mac didn't die of it.
Yeah, I gotta say, Paul in the comments tried to jinx everybody by saying 0 crashes so far. It's
Oh
quite
my
a rude
god,
thing
thank
to
you,
say.
Paul.
Yeah, right. Which is quite a rude thing to say when everybody's starting to render right now.
Well, I haven't seen any redshift. Maybe that's the root
Ah.
of the.
It gets connected. And should we look at? Let's see. We looked at Steven, we looked at Alex, we looked at Matt. Let's look at Michael one last time here.
How long do we
Oh
have left?
boy.
2 minutes.
2 minutes left. Oh, whoa.
Oh. I see. Okay, so we're also doing.
Position above it.
So is he animating this, and maybe he's just moving
Nah.
stuff around here? Okay.
I think it's just making nice composition with showing his asset.
So this is cool. He's got a sub window open showing his camera view, and then in the main window, he's got a sort of a freeform view where he can go around and adjust stuff. So he can sort of adjust the look of it and see it through the camera and judge it in real time. So I think that's a clever way of working, kind of working in a couple of viewports at once.
It is. And you can even change depending on the camera directly in that view. Really good. Really good idea.
Very cool. No stranger to look dev, I'm guessing.
Okay, 1 minute. You guys want to run through them real quick?
We have
Yeah.
time? I don't know.
I don't think so, but
I'm gonna look.
oh my, Stefan's
Ah, yeah.
Oh, he's got the grid. He put the grid down.
I love the grid.
Yeah, it's great.
And Matt Estella has got Terminal up. So all you Terminal fans out there,
That's cheating.
yeah.
Go hard or go home, guys.
30 seconds.
And let's see.
And lastly, maybe a quick. He's adding the that old bounce guy that's juggling.
Oh, the
And
bounce.
maybe have a last look at Alex.
Oh my God, that takes me back. Look at that.
Yeah.
8 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Quick, hit render.
1.
Finished, guys.
Woo! Mouse is down.
House is down, everyone.
Okay, so we're on. I'm on Alex's screen. Alex, you want to talk for a minute about?
Sure.
Yeah.
That did go by fast.
Yeah, it does.
So yeah, I obviously went with more of a retro theme.
Uh-huh. Love it.
Bit of a beeping sound. So I kind of found this really old clock, which I thought was pretty cool and super retro, super
Yeah.
kitschy. So I kind of went with more of like a old diner clock, using the fonts up, obviously some disgusting Comic Sans. I had to have some incandescence in there, obviously, which I crammed in the last minute.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah, so I went with
Cool.
Bit of a hack and slash approach, but got it in the end.
Well, I applaud the thought that went into the design, and then you've kind
Yeah.
of got all these different pieces of it. You get the background and the texture of that, and then the joke of like the font and the clock arms
And the
everything.
rendering.
Yeah, really well put together in such a short amount of time.
Great. Let's go to Matt Estella.
Oh, hello. So I did my usual panic thing and just went for as many silly cops tricks as I could. And I thought, what's missing here? Oh, I know, the old Amiga juggler. So I think it's just finished rendering. See if I can make that work. File, open. No, not a single file. There we are. That's it. That's what I want. Oh no, it's still working.
It's not finished yet.
That's a short clip right there.
Well, I love the humor.
Frame 11. There we are. Shit.
It's definitely a party mushroom.
Yeah,
Fixed.
looks like a real fun guy.
Hey, Michael, could you please trigger up the Venga Boys clip again?
Absolutely.
Woo!
Oh.
Okay, next, Michael.
Hey, well, I didn't feel like I was gonna have much time to render anything, and to me, retro is about like not a whole lot of shading or GI or anything like that. So I was thinking about these roller skates I had when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, cool.
How we missed that earlier.
They're just like super chunky, and I like the colors. And I was also thinking about this modernist cuisine cookbook that I think is pretty rad, where they cut through all these like food items and stuff with a water jet. So I wanted to do like a stripy cross section sort of mushroom. So went with something like that. Found myself not remembering how to do a clean edge offset in the middle of it, so did a bunch
It's
of
okay.
did a bunch of panicky hand editing because I thought this would be a fun science project if there's longer than 45 minutes. And I don't know, probably the happiest I got was when I was setting up a little draw curve thing to make points for putting the dots on these guys. And I have no idea what happened the whole time because I had to turn you all down because I couldn't think. So
Yeah,
it can be
yeah.
a lot. It can be a lot. I have to ask you.
Just shut it. Yeah.
I have to ask you the like sort of blocky, pixely sort of look that comes right where the stem meets the cap of the mushroom during like where it's cut through there. You see how it's like almost squares. Was that intentional, or was that kind of like a byproduct of like a Z fighting kind of thing happening, or what is that?
yeah, so I have gotten that in the past, and I was hoping it might end up looking that way. So I got a little lucky. But yeah, I was sort of intentionally trying to make the stem thin in hopes that there would be some
Yeah.
cool interference there that would look kind of retro-y and
Cool. Yeah, it
Pixely.
looks neat.
But yeah.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, I love it. Next, Stefan.
Okay, can you hear me? Fine.
Yes, yes.
So I went for like retro being like a 80s synthwave kind of thing, and spent a lot of time making a mushroom, and then not entirely remembering how to properly point deform it without everything messing up, and I had just too many points on the outside. But just a quick rundown. Basically made a line. Let me stop the camera here for a second. Because every good 80s thing has to have like a push-in camera. So just basically drew a line, gave it some curve-view, used it to sweep a stem, and then used some blasting to get the last point. I made an effort to make it procedural, even though I only, in the end, modeled one fungus and then duplicated it. But it would have worked with multiple lines. Used that point to copy this entire thing here, which is basically the cap on it, which is like a clipped sphere using some VDB combined to put on some platonic solids, because that's also 80s. And then I wanted to do some line stuff, which I didn't get to, but basically merge these two together, use some distance calculations, basically from like the stem up to there to get like a nice gradient going. It's the distance from geometry thing. And then for the lines, I basically copied lines like these curved lines, these circles onto everything that I made as well, and then gave them, this is a metastellar trick, gave them a width attribute, which you can then use actually, let me get back in there and set the correct, this one, thank you, which you can then use in a object level node under miscellaneous shade open curves in viewport, and it will shade the width attribute as actual
That's cool.
visible width.
Whoa.
And then I got this pushing going, which I completely ruined now because I moved the camera.
Moved your camera.
Yeah. But you saw it when it was going
Yeah,
on.
we
So
did,
it
we
was
did.
basically the camera being something like here, and then moved over to here. Just and then this kind of carving that's happening here, I also put on the grid, just to look even more 80s. And that's all I got done in
Nice.
the time frame.
That's all, huh?
That's-
Just that.
So now it's time to vote. So everyone.